The following program may contain subject matter and language that those with a weak constitution will find distasteful and offensive. You've been warned.
Dude, WTF.
Oh, man. What the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Dude, what the fuck?
What the fuck, man?
What the fuck?
Come on, man.
Dude,
what the fuck? What the fuck?
What the fuck?
Come on, man. What the
WTF,
fuck?
dude?
What the fuck, man?
Get in here. What the
Holy shit, what the fuck?
WTF, man.
Dude, what the fuck?
What the fuck?
What the fuck? What the fuck?
What the fuck? Oh my god. What the fuck? WTF, dude. WTF. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Good evening, everyone. This is Jules. Welcome to WTF. Tonight is Monday, December 19th. I'll be your host tonight. And with me, I have a veritable array of guests. We have Ken from the Information Nation. Say hello, Ken.
Hello, Ken.
How you doing tonight, Ken?
Oh, I'm doing quite well, Jules. Thank you for inviting me.
Anytime. We have Bob Tuskin from the Bob Tuskin Radio Show. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Hey, Jules. How are you tonight?
Great.
Cool.
How's the weather in sunny Florida?
Well, it got into the 30s last night.
Wow.
So it got cold.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 50 here tomorrow, so that'll be nice.
Nice.
We also have Deron Stone from the front. Hey, Deron, how are you?
Hey, Jules, how's it going? Bob, Ken, what's happening?
Oh, man, it's an honor to be with you, Deron.
Isn't it?
It really is. No, all kidding aside, I am a fan of the front.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it, Bob.
Cool.
And last but not least, we have Josh with us tonight for the first time from Anti-Tyranny News. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing good. Yourself?
Pretty good.
Great.
So, tonight, I think I didn't really have too much in mind, so I think we're just going to kind of leave it as an open forum. But I wanted to know, did any of you guys see the posting that I posted this morning about the middle school teacher who was arrested for throwing food through a McDonald's drive-thru window? She got mad about her hash browns, and they wouldn't give her a refund, so she drove around to the window, chucked them back through the window, and I guess was caught on surveillance film, and they arrested her for assault. So let that be a lesson. Do not ever help.
This is a growing trend. Didn't we have the guy with not enough meat in his chalupa or something? Didn't he freak out at wherever they sell chalupas? A couple weeks ago? No?
I remember the Kentucky Fried Chicken when they were out of chicken at the drive-thru. Somebody played that once. And people got out and started having a rough time.
People only take so much. As we can see.
Yes. So, I don't know. What's going on?
You can pass military detention laws and no one's going to get off their butt, but not enough meat in my chalupa or my hash browns are burnt. Well, that's it. That's my line in the sand.
That's exactly right. And I'm going to trample over you for that Black Friday sale. Forget trample over you because, we don't have any food. I'm going to trample over you for a Black Friday sale. Like animals. That's what they do. And it really is scary. That is the mindset of the sheeple these days. And I don't like to use that term a lot, but in this case it applies. They are sheeple, folks. It's the herd mentality. And speaking of the herd mentality, the general consciousness is very much in tune to the fact that some Korean guy died. Did you hear about this?
Jong Il. Yeah.
Yes.
Some random Korean guy up in the north died today. So,
Yeah, I think that whole thing will be kind of interesting as to what happens. I mean, his son, I haven't seen much about his son, but I'm going to assume that he's cut from the same cloth. You know, I did see a report yesterday where people were postulating that they were going to go in and take the South right away. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
I don't know. Junior's already shooting off rockets, right?
Yeah, I saw that. Like, on Death Day?
It's like Macaulay Culkin now is in charge of North Korea.
Well, he's only like 20, right?
I think he's like, 25, somewhere in there. I don't think he's older
my
than
age.
Yeah, I don't think he's... I don't think he's older than 25.
Let's not be ageist now.
No. But still, 25 and running a country. With nukes.
Well, yeah.
Can't be any worse than Obama.
He's 25, right?
Is he?
He wants you to think he is.
He's gained 25 years in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
Yes. Have you seen him lately? He's gotten gray, man.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Wow.
That's because he's working so hard.
It must be the stress of those golf games.
Yeah. And the Hawaiian vacations. I heard today that, his wife, what's her name? I can't even think of her name.
Michelle,
thank you. She spent $100,000 on escorts, like not escorts, but her nail people, her clothes people, all of her entourage.
They all travel with her?
Yeah, and she went a few days early to Hawaii and blew like 100 G's with all of her group.
Doesn't she have like 20 personal maids?
Yeah, something like that. And what is that all about? Didn't she come from the ghetto in freaking Chicago somewhere?
Hey, look, she's real. Well, I don't know if I'll go there, but I was just gonna say, she's really in real life. She's a giraffe, so it's amazing that they get her to look like that.
Is she related to Oprah?
You'd think.
Oprah.
The Love Fest. I don't know. I actually used to be brainwashed by Oprah many, many moons ago. But, did you say, oh, God?
Yes, I did. I did.
Well, because Oprah was like a woman's woman. It's like, wow, she was successful and outspoken, and she wanted to have everyone's interest in mind, and we all kind of fed into that. But I've come out the other side.
She was marketed directly to you.
Exactly. My mom was always into her, but I was always into Dr. Phil.
Yeah, he was cool. She made him, didn't she?
Yep.
Just a joke.
I was not into Dr. Phil.
This wasn't going to go there.
That is officially our first what the moment of the show.
Oh, boy. Well, what happened to Dr. Phil? Is he still around?
Oh, he's still around, and I just want to make this very clear. Dr. Phil touched me. He really did. With that show he did on the Casey Anthony murder, what did you think I meant by him touching me? Come on now. Don't go down there. Jeez. So immature. Anyways, that show on the Casey Anthony distraction, oh, man. I'm so glad he got that interview before anyone else did. This is big news.
I missed it. Sorry.
Dr. Phil should be a mentor to everyone out there who's interested in liberty and the things that we talk about on this show.
Dr. Phil.
2012.
I know a lot of things Dr. Phil could be, but a mentor isn't one of them. And the rest of them I can't even say on WTF. So.
Well, your name is Dr. Ken, right?
Not even close.
Well, Dr. Phil, isn't he an info jam? What's John Connor's site called?
Yeah,
Infomedia Jam?
John's done something with Dr. Phil before, yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Phil's one of his targets. And the Today Show and every other piece of garbage that's out there.
Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGenerate.
What about Ellen?
Oh, man, do you like her or something? Did I...
Oh, no. I mean, she's kind of the next Oprah is what I always took her as, but I didn't know what you were meaning by Ellen.
Well, go ahead, Deron.
I was just going to say, I mean, they're all the same. It's just, it's all the same. It's all the same stuff. I don't see the difference in any of it. Ellen, The View, Oprah.
What about Rosie O'Donnell, though? We got Rosie O'Donnell, who did come out for 9/11 Truth, and she was fired from The View.
Hey, I like her. I like her for saying that. I like her for saying that. I like Rosanne Barr for saying it. I like anybody for saying it.
True.
I don't trust WikiLeaks because Assange won't say it.
Right, that's the litmus test.
For me, it is.
I think I hear music. Are we going to a break, I believe?
We're going to break.
All right, everybody. We'll be back in just a few seconds. All right, welcome back, everybody. You're here tonight with Jules as a host. We have Bob Tuskin, Ken from Information Nation, Darren Stone, and Josh from Anti-Tyranny News with us tonight. And I believe when we went to break, we had been talking about Dr. Phil. We have a caller on the line. It is Jeff from Massachusetts, and Jeff had a few comments to make about Dr. Phil. You there, Jeff?
Oh, yes, I'm right here. Well, I'll tell you, Dr. Phil's pretty. Dr. Phil's got, even though I know he's a leftist and has a leftist agenda, the strong part about his program is he talks about how him and his son get dressed up in the fat suit, and especially his son gets dressed up in the fat suit, and just shows how people are mean on the streets. And if you're ugly, you get treated a certain way, and if you're beautiful, you get treated a certain way. And also he does these type of social experiments that really expose people for what they are. And that to me is a strong point.
Wow. Wow, you really just sold me, Jeff. I think I'm going to start watching Dr. Phil. And in fact, I'm going to talk to Doug and Jimmy, my two program directors, about possibly playing Dr. Phil in one of my time slots.
Oh, well, but he is a leftist. He does have a very leftist agenda, and he is kind of syrupy.
The fact that we're spending so much time talking about him is pretty darn disgusting, if you ask me.
Oh, I know. I just was throwing that out there.
I'm glad.
My personal concern is the Senate bill that just passed, the amendment to the Defense Authorization Act. That to me is my biggest concern: the loss of liberty, the loss of freedom of speech. Yeah, but
all right. Now we're getting into some good stuff. All right, you were just warming us up with small talk about Dr. Phil before we got into the good stuff, huh?
Oh yes. Well, when you talked about Dr. Phil, it's just like playing tennis or something like that. I always try and go with what the host talks about, but if you want to know what's on my heart, it's freedom of speech, and being able to say my opinion without getting nabbed by Big Brother. That's my main concern, and of course most of the Patriot talk show hosts have been talking about this endlessly, and I can't blame them. Even Michael Savage went nuts over this subject, and I can't blame him for going nuts over this subject either, because it means the roundup of dissidents, the Sovietization of America. And that's my concern with that particular bill is when Obama puts his signature on it. Don't be surprised if you see patriots start getting rounded up for dissenting against the president. And
sure, Dr. Phil is probably the first on that list. And I just heard from Jimmy. Jimmy's going to start carrying Dr. Phil per your suggestion. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. My slot is now being bumped off for Dr. Phil, folks. So stay tuned.
Oh man,
That's what you get,
my mom like. But before I go, my mom likes Oprah Winfrey. I have no use.
It's good to know.
For Oprah Winfrey and so forth. But somebody was trying to call for me, and guys, I thank you for having me on the broadcast, and do have an excellent night.
All right.
Good night, Jeff. All right, so what do you have to say about that phone call?
Well, I say that I wish Dr. Phil would bring attention to the NDAA. So,
yes, that would be great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I now know that Jeff from Massachusetts is a dissident, and we're going to be watching him.
Is that Dr. Phil?
Yes, it is.
Dr. Phil.
Dr. Phil and his girlfriend.
Oprah.
Oh, my.
I think I've lost it.
Yeah, I don't know. Dr. Phil talking about the NDAA would be pretty amusing.
Yeah. I don't. He probably doesn't even know what it
fuzzy
is.
spin on it. I don't know. Do you think Obama's going to sign that bill?
Yes.
And when? Before or after Christmas?
During.
Maybe.
He'll just phone it in and have the machine sign it for him.
Yeah, he loves that auto pen.
Yeah, and then he can say, I never signed it. The auto pen did it.
You know, honestly, I don't even know how that thing is legal. Before he started using it to sign, like, real bills, they used to just use it to sign letters, you know, response letters to people who wrote to the White House. They never used it to sign anything official before Obama.
Maybe Obama can't write.
I don't know about that. But
I think he's just, you know, big pimping it. He's just living large. He's got an auto pen. Player's going to use it.
He's flaunting it.
Well, you know, his wife has already spent $11 million on vacation.
Oh, God. In taxpayer money?
Yeah, just her. $11 million. Now another $4 million to go to Hawaii. When was the last time the average person went on vacation and dropped 11 mil? Or 4?
That's pretty
Matter of fact, how many people today are going on vacation?
Nobody. But, you know, how are they escaping the radiation? You know, he keeps going over to visit his family over there. And I'm just wondering if he's popping anti-radiation pills. I mean, is he not worried about the debris that's floating around out there?
Not. Goes for a swim.
Reptilians' cells divide very, very slowly. It's not really much of a concern.
That could explain it then.
I don't know. Maybe he has like what we were talking about the other day, right? There's a radioactive pill or a pill to prevent radioactive poisoning, right? Developed in Buffalo. Some company. Was it you that was talking about that, Jules?
Yeah. It's Cleveland Labs in Buffalo testing it on Roswell Park patients right now.
There you go.
That is 100% fact. And it was financed by the Defense Department. They gave him, like, I don't know, $3 million or $30 million to develop this pill to use for the troops firing depleted uranium bombs. That's what they said. But I have a feeling that all the rich people are going to get them and we won't, and then they don't have to worry about Fukushima.
Maybe that accounts for the gray hair. Radiation poisoning.
He started going gray shortly thereafter. He was probably using Grecian formula. Well, I mean, he just got into office. Remember how young he looked? And he just got into office. I was like, wow, he's got some gray hair already.
It's really wearing on him. He's starting to look worse than his old lady.
Maybe that's why he thinks that, you know, another 4 years not being in office would be okay.
Is that what he said? I thought he wanted to be.
He did. He came out and said that a few months ago that, hey, you know, if I don't win, that's no big deal because, you know, I don't really need to be here. I'd be happy not being here.
Yeah, I
thought,
got my.
wow, that's a way to kick off re-election.
Yeah, I got my pension. What do I care? Let you taxpayers pay me the rest of my life.
Maybe. So, what else is going on?
Well, Oh, I don't know what else is going on. In a what the F moment, we can stay on the Barry theme and his approval of testing anthrax vaccinations on kids.
Oh, man.
I mean, I have no issue with it as long as Sasha and Malia are first.
Yeah, they were supposed to not pass that, I remember.
Yeah, but then they decided to. Those tricky son of bees.
Music.
All right.
Just coming out of the clear blue.
This is what the fuck.
Lions.
We'll be right back.
As if Jimmy lets us.
Call us up toll free. Or is it troll free?
Hey, go ahead.
We're live anyways. That's how we came back from the break. We just talked into it. Who cares? It's what the... I mean, they tune in for the content anyways. I think the listeners are tired of, oh, welcome back, you know, who cares? Talk about something relevant.
Professionalism's overrated.
Yeah, no, I do it on
Realism's where it's at, man. Realism's where it's at.
I think they can appreciate it.
It's like reality TV for radio.
Sure.
It's reality radio.
I mean, at least on Monday nights with What the...
Yeah. Oh, we're back, right?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Been for about a minute. You guys been going real good. I'm just sitting here listening.
So, hey, did you guys see that Florida is thinking about banning the naked body scanners?
Yep.
Nice.
That's because some people just shouldn't be seen naked.
I wonder if I was responsible for that. I am in Florida.
Well, I mean, what does it mean, though? Does it mean more pat-downs?
Yeah, that's a good question. And I wouldn't take the naked body scanner anyways. In fact, most recently when I flew, which I normally try not to, I fly maybe 3 or 4 times a year at the most, I deliberately chose the Orlando airport to fly out of because they did not have the naked body scanners. The naked body scanners are not in every airport. There's over 170 airports that do have them, though. Good question as far as what's going to happen with that. Didn't they try to do something in Texas along those lines?
Oh, I don't know. I don't remember that.
They tried to kick the TSA out totally, and the government threatened to shut down airspace over Texas.
They did?
Yeah.
Just Libya.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because they said that they could not ensure the safety of passengers if the TSA was not involved.
Yeah, we need a no-fly zone over Texas, over Israel, over a few other places.
And who was the governor at the time? Good old Rick Perry.
CW. Oh, Rick Perry.
Just backed right out of that one.
And Rick Perry, he was for it, and then, you know, right when it comes up to they want to sign a bill, he decides, oh, I'm not for this no more.
I think they took him to Dallas and drove him by the depository.
Right.
Or they took him to Dallas and gave him a suppository. I'm not sure which one it was.
Or maybe they gave his kid some of that vaccination that he loves to push.
That could be.
Yeah, there was a report that came out. There were like 3 or 4 boys that died from it now. From the Gardasil.
That's because they don't have cervixes. You know, they'll figure it out after a little while.
That's just messed up. Nobody should take that vaccine.
Cervix? What's a cervix? Oh, is that for a boy or for a girl?
Talk about juvenile, Bob.
I know. I had to go there. But, you know, it's funny because the powers that shouldn't be, guys like Rick Perry, they don't know. They don't care if you're a boy or a girl. Eugenics isn't gender specific.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
He thought
I'm just thinking.
was just another part of the military.
It's class specific.
Yeah, maybe.
Well, there's this new flu vaccine that they've been touting for like it had to be already 2 years that they were coming up with this universal flu vaccine. And I just saw something recently that they're getting ready to start doing human testing. So it makes you wonder, once they're ready to roll with that, and I'm sure it was probably fast-tracked, because isn't it how they do everything now that they want to get out there? They fast-track it through the FDA. They don't
and then once a certain number of people die from it and there's enough public out there, they go,
right. And they can't be sued anymore, so, it's probably cheaper to do it that way. Didn't they get rid of us being allowed to class action lawsuit vaccine companies?
Yes.
Obama did that.
Supreme Court case, you're right.
Yeah. So,
well, this vaccination for anthrax is specifically disturbing, and them wanting to dose our children with it. The fact of the matter is, anthrax, the only way you can get it is through the spores. Now, mind you, the only cases of an anthrax attack have been traced back to our own government. What a surprise. Fort Detrick, of course, and it goes on and on and on. Recently, for 9/11, I attended the 9/11 bioterrorism threat 10 years later with Senator Bob Graham, who is the head of the bioterrorism board with the leading pathogens, and on and on and on. You can see that confrontation on YouTube, went viral. And I asked him about anthrax. Right, and his head pathogen guy said, "Oh yeah, we unfortunately we could decide what that specific strand was, and on and on and on." And Bob Graham, of course, ran like a little girl and denied it and tried to run away. But going back to the vaccine, the most interesting thing is, again, the only way you can get it is through the spores. So why are we giving a vaccine to people when we know that the only way you can get it is if there's some sort of attack? And not only that, but we know that there is a known treatment for it that will work every time. Why are we going to proactively dose people with all sorts of poisons and squalene when we know that all we got to do is give them some antibiotics? And I know those aren't good most of the time and should not be used, but if you're, if you're dying from an anthrax attack, then if it works, you got to use it.
Well, Bob, I was going to mention that when I used to be involved in our emergency preparedness initiative here, that was one of the things that we trained for, was for anthrax. And yes, the quinolone antibiotics are the ones that work for anthrax inhalation. Those are dangerous antibiotics. Those are the ones that cause all kinds of issues with your Achilles tendons and that, and can cause, organ failure. But you're absolutely right. Why are we proactively vaccinating people when it's not like it is in the wild, but like you said, it's only stuff that they found was stuff that came from our own labs. There's no reason. We already have a plan nationwide, and they have stores of quinolone antibiotics specifically for anthrax. There's a plan all laid out. We've trained for it, everything. On a national level. It's all DHS stuff.
Oh, but we got to proactively dose children, and we got to give them a medicine for AIDS that they might catch that doesn't exist. The HIV virus is a fraud, but let's give them medication proactively.
Bill Gates.
Who's calling?
I don't know. Do we have a caller?
Yes, we do.
I love callers.
You love callers?
I love them. I'm a caller. You're a caller. Area code 513 is the caller. Welcome. What's your mind? What's on your mind?
518.
Hello. I just
Hello.
want to say, am I on the line?
You are.
Yeah.
I'd just like to say, everybody get off Twitter because they're censoring everything.
Twitter?
About sulfur. Yeah, that's by Twitter. They're censoring.
Okay.
And I'd like to thank Toxic Shock from Facebook for buying the front T-shirt. I'm wearing it now.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome.
So that's it for now.
Hey, thanks for the
great
call.
job you're doing. Okay, bye-bye.
Good to hear from you. You know him, Derek? Did you put him up to that?
I'll give you that 5. No, did not.
Checks in the mail.
I mean, I know
No, actually,
maybe
I
what
did.
he's Maybe what he was talking about was the fact that they're archiving all the Twitter, right? Aren't they putting those into the Library of Congress right now? And I mean, we do have our feed pushing to Twitter from Facebook. I think a few of us do. So I don't know, is that a good thing or a bad thing?
I have no idea.
You ready for another call, Bob?
Yeah, more calls.
Wow.
More calls, okay. 559, go ahead.
Uh-oh.
Hello.
Hello.
Somebody said Bob Tuskin's on this show.
Oh, no, it's Bob from Cincinnati. Another great call. See, I knew there was a reason why I like the phone calls tonight, guys.
I am stalking you, Bob.
No, you're not. That's
no,
impossible. I already have 15 trolls that do that on a regular basis in all the chat rooms I show up in, so there's no way you can beat.
I'm just another humpback troll waiting in the wings. But you guys are bringing up some great topics, and I appreciate your voices speaking truth in a world of tyranny. Yes, this new legislation is criminal. Let's start calling it what it is, ladies and gentlemen, criminal. This is treason. When you have to call it what it is.
I called it that last night on my show. I said that any congressman, any senator that voted for that legislation should be tried for high treason and misdemeanors and should be booted out of office. It is criminal what they've done.
And we have to hold them accountable.
There's a key word. Go ahead, Jules, sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just going to say I've been seeing police officers standing up against it also, saying that this is absolutely against the law.
I don't want to be a party pooper, but we're coming up against break, so... Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's WTF, and we are rapidly degenerating into a program that we don't even want to listen to. But that's not true. I'm just pulling your leg. Bob, you were talking to our caller. Go ahead.
Well, Bob from Cincinnati is on the line. He's a great researcher and a great friend to the show. And Bob, we talked a little bit last hour on a few different things when you called into my show. But what else is on your mind? What have you been working on these days? I know you had been researching for one of these radio shows for a while. What else have you been working on?
Well, I'll be honest with you, and I appreciate you following my work, Bob. I appreciate that. I've been kind of laying low, just trying to gather all the resources. There's so much to look into, but you and your friends here brought up an excellent point about these vaccines. They're poison, and any thinking person can find that out very quickly. Even the scientist, Maurice Hillerman of Merck, the chief scientist at Merck, admitted this is all poison, that cancerous poison, that they introduced cancer in the live virus. I mean, it's sickening. And to also to follow up with vaccines, when one does the research into it, you realize what's the worst thing that can happen if these kids get mumps, or if these kids get measles, or if these kids get the chicken pox. Oh, my God, they get measles, mumps, and chicken pox. You know what happens? There's a study, many studies done, that girls who take these or who don't take these vaccines, if they don't take the vaccines and they do get mumps or measles, that this heating up of the system, this burning up of the system with the high fever actually burns off the same mutagens that cause ovarian cancer later in life. So there's a positive. I mean, in reality, when one thinks about it, that's just like saying, well, God doesn't have it right. Let's just go ahead and stick these kids with all kinds of poison because I know what's better for these kids than the natural order of things.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Allopathic medicine is a big part of the problem. Because, and the second we have this appeal to authority fallacy that we buy into, the second we're going to have problems. When people just assume that because some guy's got 3 letters next to his name and he's wearing a fancy robe that he's telling you the truth about, whether it's vaccines or cancer treatments or whatever, we need to be autodidacts and look into this stuff for ourselves. That's why we see people not looking at obvious cures that are out there. You know, a lot of people say, well, if there's cures to cancer, if there's cures and remedies to all these different things, why don't people know about it? Well, because they're too busy taking the word of allopathic doctors that have it in their best interest to keep you sick. And folks, healthcare is the #1 growing industry. And it is an industry first and foremost now. They have forgotten their Hippocratic oath. They don't know anything about it. They could care less about your food. They could care less about the water you drink. And all they want to do is dose you with chemotherapy and radiate you.
You know, the funny thing about this stuff is we've got all these rainforests which have so many, that's a pharmaceutical company's dreamland, and they're allowing all these countries to just burn down the rainforest because they want to plant crops. And there are so many natural cures out there, but we'd be taking money out of their pocket. So they can't have that.
That's right. And I'll finish up here, and I'll get out of here, guys. And once again, I appreciate your voices of truth. It's a rare thing to hear truth anywhere anymore. And so thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen, for your good work out here. Just remember the old adage, what government really is, from the Latin, gubernare, meaning to control or to govern, and then mente, meaning the mind control. Thank
exactly
you,
right.
Bob. Thank you.
Well said, Bob. That's exactly right. Break that down, folks. Government equals mind control. Politics equals many bloodsuckers.
Well, you know,
Poly meaning many, ticks meaning bloodsuckers.
Or scum-sucking bottom feeders, however you want to look at them.
Very true.
And one good point that I thought he had that just kind of underlines everything is right. I mean, what's the big deal if you got chickenpox or mumps or measles? Because guess what? I had them. I had chickenpox and I had mumps. I did not have
you're alive
measles.
to tell about
and
it.
I am alive, yes.
Wow. It's crazy. I wonder how those teenage girls over the past decade survived without the Gardasil shot.
Yes, and we never had those either.
Yeah. It's amazing. Magic, I guess.
But we think that we're better than nature. I mean, I don't understand the squalene, especially. I mean, the aluminum sulfate, that's the older version of the irritant that they put into it to stimulate your immune system, was causing cancer in animals in the 3-year rabies vaccine. And that's why they don't give them the shots in the neck anymore. They give them to them in the leg. But they knew for a fact, Cornell University had been studying that for years. My cat became part of the study. They had to take off his leg. They sent it in there. I mean, that is 100%, and they're putting it in our kids' vaccines.
You got
and the squalene. Oh, he's gone now. That was many years ago. But, yeah, I had a beautiful 3-legged cat. He was a panther, absolutely gorgeous cat, and ended up with this bone cancer. And the doctor, when we took the picture, she said, oh, you know what? The 3 years rabies vaccine causes that. That's why we give it in the leg. And then asked me if when they took his leg off, they could send it to Cornell to be part of the study. So 100%, it's the aluminum sulfate. It's an adjuvant.
Yeah, and now they basically force you to vaccinate your pets. You know, it's tied into the town. In this area, anyways, it's tied into the town for the licensing of your dog. And actually, I guess it's not cats. I don't have to license my cat, I don't think. I don't really recall if I do or not.
Yeah, here we don't.
But it is with the dogs.
My vet told me, you know, because my cats are indoor, I asked him about the vaccines, and he personally admitted that he felt we gave them too many. And then especially if it's an indoor animal, that, you know, I mean, as long as they're not going to get out, that's fine. You know, have it done once or every 7 years or something like that. But you shouldn't have to have them done every year. And so he didn't force me to get it done on any of my animals. But
so it's from the aluminum in that vaccination.
The aluminum sulfate. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, in some of the newer ones, they have squalene.
What are the healing properties of aluminum sulfate?
Well, they're very good for Alzheimer's.
I'm just wondering the purpose of it.
It's a great healing process known as Alzheimer's. It makes you forget all the woes of the world, and it's one of the leading combatants to depression.
What?
Exactly.
You know, you'd think that they'd put something that was more natural to the body in there. Like, what if they put, a small amount of flu virus.
You mean like little baby? The baby fetus?
Like
I'm
in
serious. We had Clint Richardson on my show who did a new documentary on the vaccine issue. We talked about squalene, and we talked about the baby fetus. Baby fetus.
What? I mean, in the food? Because I know there was an article about the food. In the vaccines?
Yeah. Check it out.
Wow.
Obviously, baby fetus is good because, like Jules said, it's being used. What is it? HK 239 or something like that. It's called. It's a food ingredient. That's the technical term for it, I guess, or the industry name.
People don't have enough HK 49 in their diet or whatever it is.
Well, it's an essential nutrient, Bob. Okay.
Yeah.
Gives a whole new meaning to the word baby food.
I mean, what is that all about, though? Aren't we cannibals at this point? Is that what that's about?
Or cannonballs, maybe. I don't know about cannonball.
I just don't understand, why they would think the baby fetus would be a freaking additive to anything.
Well, they were eating poo burgers.
Yes, remember that?
Since this is we might as well bring up the poo burgers, and they have baby fetus soup in parts of China, and Kim Jong whatever, his last meal was dog, so we know he had some German Shepherd before he went today. So it's a cultural thing. Some people eat dog, some people eat poo, some people eat baby fetus. It's cultural. I'm a cultural relativist. It's their culture. That's just.
Where did they get baby oil from?
Baby oil? That's cold pressed baby.
Okay.
Infant press.
Infant press. Oh man, we're gonna get in trouble here. The FCC is going to.
That was bad.
They're gonna, and if you have children, they're gonna be knocking on your door.
We're listening to you.
And when we get back in a little bit, next hour, we have a great story for you folks for What The. And Deron brought this to our attention. Some pretty sick stuff with parents making out with their high school children. So you're not going to want to miss that coming up next hour. And Jules, what else we got?
I was thinking we might want to talk about Iran being the next target and blaming 9/11 on them.
Yeah. Oh man,
How about Eric Holder playing the race card for Fast and Furious?
Fast and Furious, baby. Well, we'll be back fast and furiously. That was a bad one. I know. Nobody wants to help me out.
You're on your own on that one.
They're even making a new song about Iran.
Bomb, 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 Iran. Bomb, bomb, Iran.
Remember McCain dancing to that?
The following program may contain subject matter and language that those with a weak constitution will find distasteful and offensive. You've been warned.
Come on, man. WTF.
And we're back. Is everybody being really quiet on purpose?
No.
I can barely hear the music, so I kind of wait to hear you guys.
I thought I was in a porn video, so I was ready.
You were zoning out?
Yeah. In fact, I'm watching these children make out with their parents, and this is just so disturbing.
It is.
People are saying, what the is he talking about? Well, for those that don't know, Deron, why don't you tell them about this story that you found?
This story took place at Rosemount High School. I believe it's in Minnesota or somewhere in that area. And I guess the principal of the school, John Wollersheim, had a great idea to get people psyched up for the big game. He thought that he would blindfold some of his students and have their, if it was a female student, dad, and if it was a male student, mom, come over and make out with their child to get them psyched up for the game.
Yeah.
Wow. What is that?
One of the kids, Tommy Finkelstein, reported that he was quite disturbed when he realized the tongue that was slipped in his mouth was from his mother.
There's actual footage of them, of this one mother and son making out, and the mother puts the son's hand on her butt, and then they proceed to hit the floor.
The son reported that her tuchus felt as if it was the buttocks of somebody his age, and he was completely disturbed and mentally traumatized. Now, the report,
but oddly aroused.
But oddly aroused, yes. This has new meaning to the Oedipus complex that scientists have never considered.
Where did this take place?
Rosemount High School. Let me see here. I think it's Minnesota.
No. It was Bonermount High School, and it was in I believe it was in Incest, Minnesota.
Yeah, it was
part Minnesota. Of a new reality show.
Yes.
It's like
all kidding aside, the powers that shouldn't be, these so-called blue bloods, they're all into their own family members. They love it. That's a good sort of deal for them. This is something that I think they can empathize with.
Well, got to keep the bloodlines pure, right? You can't taint it. But I think this is a real story. I mean, honestly, though, what are we looking at? 4 or 5 different parent and child couples. And a gymnasium full of people watching.
I'm assuming that was upper class. Was that an upper class neighborhood?
Now, why would you assume that, Jules?
Well, I don't know. But it just seems, I just can't even fathom.
I can't either.
And what school would be encouraging this?
Why? Rosemount High.
The strange part is the kid that turned around and said, "This tuchus feels vaguely familiar." I think I felt this tuchus before.
Oh, and but Principal John Wollersheim, he says he takes responsibility for everything that happens at the school, so that should make everybody feel better.
All right.
Whose tuchus is he grabbing?
Don't know. His daughters, I'm sure, but.
Oh, maybe it is one of those towns where that's what happens.
That is
ones that you drive into and you feel really kind of skeevy. Because everyone's kind of looking at you weird.
It's definitely a WTF story.
Wow.
I'm glad I could bring something to the table tonight, you guys. It's my first time on the show. I wanted to make a good impression, so.
It is your first time, so thank you very much for that. So, Josh, didn't you say you had something?
Yeah, Sweden just legalized and is going to regulate cannabis. I'll drop the link in the chat. So, there's not only Amsterdam anymore.
And I heard they were going to limit in Amsterdam.
Yeah, they were actually talking about actually making it illegal in Amsterdam to do it in public. I don't know how far that'll actually go because of tourism. But, yeah, in Sweden, December 19th, the Swedish parliament has approved a law in which cannabis will be regulated in growing, usage, and trade. So they're planning on trading it too. And they made a remark on there too, that the reason they did this, they didn't want to make the same mistake which the U.S. has done.
Which is making it illegal.
Exactly.
So what does that say for you there?
Someone's at least waking up.
The
Is it you,
mistakes. Is Bob waking up? Is that what you're asking him?
Yeah. No, go ahead, Darren. Sorry.
Oh, I don't know. I lost it. I was just, I heard that. I just lost it. I was going to go through some other mistakes that America has made. I was going to roll with that, but the timing went. Sorry.
Mistakes? We make mistakes? We don't make mistakes.
No. Actually, we don't. It's all part of the agenda.
Yes, it is. We follow that agenda very closely. We don't make mistakes. We make choices. Just like Eric Holder made the choice today to bring out the race card. He has no way to defend himself in Fast and Furious, so right away he comes out and he says, well, this investigation, let's see what I got written down here. It's driven to criticize both him and President Obama due to the color of their skin. The thing that gets me is, why do we have to hear about all of this stuff in this country from the UK? Why can't we have this in our own papers?
Right, it's all foreign papers.
Yeah. You look at our papers and they don't mention a darn thing about it, but you go to the Daily Mail or even the Australian papers, you look at those and all of a sudden you're going, what? And you start looking through our news and you go, it ain't there.
They just run out of room, Ken. They run out of room. They can't fit stuff in there like that,
I'm glad you clarified that for me. I thought you had enough paper that they could add an extra page, or, the internet. I mean, I guess you only got so much room on your server.
Are we on break?
No, we're not.
Oh, okay. I can't. I thought I heard music before.
Bob was playing
Bob.
music.
No.
That was Bob the Meat Tuskin.
Oh, listen to this. I got a story for you guys for what the... it's about a police brutality coloring book. That's right, kids. We got a new coloring book for you. Artists in New York have created a coloring book inspired by allegations of police violence against Occupy Wall Street activists. Are they really allegations? I mean, I think it's pretty clear that they've been being violent towards the protesters. Anyways, the police brutality coloring book is a 48-page do-it-yourself publication now on sale online. Creator Joe Hemp Nelson said he had been inspired to act after a friend of a friend had been pepper sprayed in Manhattan. So this is a great experience. This is great for kids if you want to teach them about the dangers of the police state and also how to color in the lines. Coming to a school near you is the Police Brutality Coloring Book. And on the Orion website, for a limited time only, you can buy your Police Brutality Coloring Book, and they're only $9.99. So get them while they are still around.
That is awesome, because you know what? I need a new coloring book. I just filled up my United Nations Haitian Relief coloring book, so I'm looking for a new one.
Very cool. And we also have a set of crayons if you're interested, only at the Orion Talk Radio Network.
Yeah, I just need gray ones for barbed wire, so.
Maybe they ought to sell that coloring book to the police department. So they could learn more about police brutality.
Don't tase me, bro.
Don't mess with the meat grinder. It's break.
Yeah.
See, it says so right down there.
It's good music.
Yeah, I know. I'm just rocking out. Keep going. Keep going. Where'd it go? Don't turn it off. I was just getting in the groove.
Found out you like it.
It grows on you after a while.
I think Jim has eight CDs worth.
8 CDs worth.
8 CDs worth, yes.
How else are you going to get it by the censor Nazis over at YouTube? You got to play stuff that they're going to go, nobody would copyright this. But it's good music. Some of it is extremely rhythmic. How'd you like that one, Bob? Rhythmic.
Wow, that's a pretty fancy term there, Ken. Now, let me ask you something, Ken. Do you have a thesaurus next to you when you're doing the radio show? Sometimes I get the impression you just have that thesaurus right next to you.
No, sir, I do not.
Because I've heard you use some words that, geez, I could never consider using.
2 or 3 syllables. Yeah, I know. It's impressive, isn't it?
Yes. Like, you used the word took us last segment. I was impressed.
Yeah. Well, I learned that one from you. I listen.
Oh.
See, that's
that
how
dirty
you
kid speak.
That's how you become better at radio. You listen to the best, or you listen to Bob Tuskin.
Yeah, and I listen to Rush Limbaugh. So, just joking.
So you're going to become an old bald fat man one day, sitting behind a golden microphone, making millions of dollars, and selling iced tea.
What?
Limbaugh's got
I couldn't hear you. What? My hearing's starting to go. Let me pop another Oxycontin in here. Hold on.
Yeah, Limbaugh with his iced tea. That's that man will sell anything, I'll tell you.
Hey, did any of you guys see the story from today about the German town or village that generated 321% more renewable energy than it needed? So it sold it back to the grid, and they made like $5.7 million from it in a year.
Yeah, I did see that story. It was wonderful, and it was posted on my website.
Yes, it was.
BobTuskin.com. Yeah.
But it was pretty cool. I mean, why can't we all do this? You know, they had solar panels, they had some biogas, so they must have had some farm animals, or they were just putting the waste in there, and wind turbines and whatever, and made all kinds of money. I mean, all of our villages and towns are crying that they're broke, right?
Wouldn't that be a kick in the ass if all of a sudden everybody put up like solar and wind-powered electric generators, and everybody sells it back to Commonwealth Edison, and they're going, we're not making any money here, guys. We're paying all the money out. Because according to law, they have to buy it. They have got to buy whatever you feed in.
But they buy it back at a much lower rate than they sell it for. I was going to have my house. I checked into it to get totally off grid with solar. $73,000 was the quote to get totally off the grid, and then you're subjected to the converter. You know, to convert the power from the panels to the battery. That went for about $5,000 per each converter, and they had to be inspected. I believe it was every 2 years.
Oh,
and yeah, I mean, so and then selling back to the power company. I don't remember the rate, but it was
pennies.
It was pennies. Yeah, it was pennies.
You'd never make that money back.
No. No.
And even with the big federal, they were doing federal subsidies, and it was like $30,000 off a unit for a federal subsidy, but they were so expensive. I mean, mine was like $50 when I looked into it. There's no way.
Sounds like something the government would just jump on board with, you know. Let's see, we're going to spend $78,000, and we'll never make the money back. Yeah, we can invest in that.
Well, I don't know what the deal with solar is, but my friend of mine works at a solar panel manufacturing plant, and most of those are going overseas. He's going to be losing his job soon. But like 2 years ago, the company was making cuts, and the workers got together and they asked management, hey, why don't we throw some solar panels up on the roof to cut costs? And they were like, laughed, no, it's too expensive.
Except
Wouldn't
they
have
make
to have
them.
been Solyndra, would it?
Nope.
That's one of the problems we've had, and I've talked about this several times, is the fact that all the jobs are heading overseas, and then they're just shipping the material, everything back over here, and like a bunch of idiot Americans are going, oh, yeah, I'll buy that for $1. It costs them about 2 cents to make it.
Well, you know, this whole Pacific Rim NAFTA that Obama's been negotiating, I mean, they had like 8 or 9 meetings already, and this last one when he then topped it off by visiting Australia, and they inked the military deal down there, so it was probably 3-4 weeks ago. But this deal that he's working on is going to open the doors to countries like Vietnam and Indonesia. Now, we cried about Mexico when they opened, you know, the border for trade and companies moved their manufacturing down to Mexico. But what do you think? You know, people make a penny a week in Indonesia.
Well, I used to work for a company that was international, and when it first started, they moved 5 plants down to Mexico. Then they went over to the Middle East, and they're over there in China and Singapore, and now they're moving plants to Vietnam. And they closed 3 of the 5 plants down in Mexico. And the Mexican government is getting upset because they're losing jobs now because Mexican labor is too expensive. And they're going to pull it out of Japan sooner or later because China is going to start getting too expensive. You know, when you go from $1 a day and a bowl of rice and a fish head to $2 a day, a bowl and a half of rice and a fish head and a half, that's it, we're moving. But that's what they do.
China's already said that that's why their economy is down, because jobs are moving over to Vietnam.
Sure, because it's cheaper.
Wow.
They're learning how to do things the American way. Screw your own people as long as the money keeps rolling in. That's why I said with this jerk that Obama's got Emmeled, he moves 2 plants. He moves the plant from Wisconsin over to China, and then he's building an aircraft production facility over in China, and they're going after Boeing because they want to build in the Carolinas. Because
That's
they're
the
not
GE guy, right?
Yeah, Emmelt is the GE guy, but they're going.
He's our jobs council.
Yeah, was it competitive head of the competitive council, and you know we're sending he's sending all the jobs to China, and the Justice Department is going after Boeing because they want to open up a plant in a non-union state. I don't remember if it's North or South Carolina. And the trickle-down effect from a big company opening up in an area, because it starts feeding all the smaller companies, because there's no way that one company has the capacity to build everything. So they feed it out to smaller companies, and it works on down the line. In my area here, we had a big automation company that went out of business. You should have seen the shops that went out of business when that place went down, because everybody started pulling back their work, and it was an effect where a lot of people shut the doors. And this guy sits there and he laughs. I've watched him on RT. He was being interviewed on RT. And he's literally sitting there laughing about sending our jobs to China. So what are we going to do with these people?
Jeffrey Amalt was laughing?
Yeah.
Well, you're kidding. You know, he took the whole medical unit that did all the scans and the x-ray machines and that, and he shipped that all over to China, too. He said, but we're not losing jobs because, you know, we're going to just take these people over there. Yeah, but you're taking, I mean, they've been here for like 100 years. I don't know. That's pretty crazy.
We spent a segment about Jeffrey Amalt. We'll come back with some better stuff.
Yo. Here we go. I'm on WTF. And I'm just getting it off my chest. We got Ken, we got Jules. We even got Deron in Anti-Tyranny News. I'm Bob Tuskin. Call us up if you want to schmooze. 888-320-6151. And please don't call us up if you've been sipping on the booze. Because, all right, I'm going to stop.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was good.
It's like maybe a split second. All right. Enough of that.
So what's up next on what the TF?
Yeah.
How about drone pilots complaining because they're tired?
Get an 8-year-old kid that plays video games. You won't have that problem. Next.
All right.
I don't know.
Short
I mean,
segment.
they were complaining, weren't they?
Yes. Yes, they were.
I don't know. So you think they get workman's comp for like carpal tunnel or whatever?
I don't know where. Oh, here we are. Let me see. Overstretched drone pilots face stress risk. So, flying drone aircraft over Afghanistan from the comfort of a military base in the United States is much more stressful than it might seem, even for pilots spared the sacrifice of overseas deployment and separation from family and friends. Meaning, after their shift, they go back home to their family and friends, you know, and then they get up and grab the Dunkin' Donuts coffee in the way, bomb some children in the streets, terrorists, and some collateral damage, and they're tired. It's tired.
And now they're really overworking them. They're checking out people in, with cows. They have cow problems.
South Dakota, that's right, yeah.
North Dakota, family of anti-government separatists busted by cops using Predator drone after stealing. I like the way they put the stealing 6 cows, but in the article it says that the cows wandered onto their property. So what are they in cahoots with the cows now?
Cows do that, you know. I grew up on a farm, and your cows get out or your horses get out, they just wander away somewhere. You get a phone call, you're like, this must be your cow. Yep.
Well, they said this wasn't the first time that it happened. It's happened in the past, and I guess they just got tired of giving the cows back. So they said, the heck with it, we'll keep them. So the sheriff goes to the, they're flying the drones over the Canadian-American border because we have so many Canadians sneaking into the country. And they said, hey, can you lend us a drone? And they flew it over to the property so they could spy on the people. And they busted them because they, did they still hang people for cattle rustling?
I was going to say, isn't it, did they actually charge them with rustling the cattle, or was it stealing?
Well, I guess they charged them with theft, but I think it would come under the old-time law of cattle rustling,
I agree.
I know if it was a horse thief, they probably would have hung them. I mean, plain and simple. But
Yeah.
I don't understand how we can get away with flying drones over our own people, spying on them, and the courts just sit back and say, well, what's wrong with that?
Well, they made it legal.
I just wonder how much they spent just to fly that drone over their property. Couldn't they have just bought them new cows with that money? They could have bought them double.
It said on the article, let's see here. The sheriff summoned a $154 million MQ-9 Predator B drone. So who knows how much that was, but the value of the cattle was $6,000. We probably spent more than $6,000 flying that drone around. Absolutely right.
Spent $600,000 just to fly that drone over.
And then we overstressed the guy that was flying the drone. So now you've got the cost of the psychiatrist that's got to work with him and the therapist. Oh, my God. Look at the mess they're creating here with these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, the state of Texas, I know they purchased a whole ton of drones a few months back.
Florida as well.
Florida did. And then I saw California. I think there was a Supreme Court judge in California that decided that, drones would be allowed. And then wasn't it part of NDAA and part of Patriot Act and whatever? I mean, I'm sure that there are no illegalities here.
New York also. A couple summers ago. New York brought in brought in drones to patrol the New York Canadian border.
Huh.
Yeah.
Well, the city of New York, what's his name, Bloomers, he said that, the police over there are just as well armed as the military. They got drones. They've got, I'm surprised they don't have tanks and rocket launchers and maybe a couple of ICBMs.
I thought.
Don't be surprised.
I thought he said he had anti-aircraft guns. I thought that's what he mentioned in that. Anti-aircraft.
They're a big threat to New York, but only if they're being flown by our government.
Right. Yeah. So, all right. Well, now we're on 9/11. So, what are your thoughts on all of a sudden the Supreme Court judge ruling in favor of this family that then, by his ruling, puts Iran as one of the responsible countries for 9/11? I mean, my personal opinion, when I first saw that, I said, okay, we had the used car salesman who contracted the Mexican drug cartel to kill the Saudi emirate that was here. But that didn't work, right? And even mainstream media came out and laughed their asses over how ridiculous the story that was. Like, it was the worst made-up story you ever possibly could imagine. So that didn't work. So now we're back to, having to come up with negotiating or putting, on Iran. Sanctions, thank you, on Iran. And we couldn't just go in and bomb them. So now, all of a sudden, it worked for Iraq. So, why don't we just try it again? Maybe they'll fall for it.
The funny part about this is it comes out after Ahmadinejad went to the United Nations and flat out said that the United States government flew those planes into the Twin Towers. So Ahmadinejad's a truther.
Right, and he definitely has been very outspoken about many things.
Yep.
And the man's very intelligent. I mean, I started to question the very beginning when they were trying to demonize him because he'd been over here at, like, all these Ivy League universities giving lectures. And I saw him on a couple different interviews that he'd done. I was like, wow, he's really smart. And he's definitely with it. He didn't seem like the crazy psychopath they made him out to be. And then he started spewing, truth.
All of this stuff that's going on in the Middle East right now. I mean, you look at Egypt. We allowed them to kick out Mubarak, and now you look at what's going on in Egypt. They turned around and bombed Libya back to the Stone Age, and they're going to have a problem there. They're going to have the same problem there that they're having in Egypt. And the whole thing is let's see if we can take out these little countries first, and then we did our thing in Iraq, and now they're gearing up for Iran. And I think the whole thing is like everything else. This president's a warmonger and he's a war criminal. And, I don't care whether they declared Bush and Cheney war criminals, which they should have been, but this president also, these internationalists, they talk about The Hague and how, we're going to try, what in the heck was that guy from Serbia or whatever in the heck it was there. They tried him as a war criminal. What do they think this guy's doing? What do they think Bush, Cheney, all of these guys are doing? They're getting our guys killed. Our guys and girls are getting killed over there, and they're sitting in there raking in the money, putting in central banks, stealing the countries blind, and now they're going to go after Iran. I'll tell you right now, they go after Iran, it's going to be one of the biggest mistakes they ever made.
I agree. I think it's going to be very messy.
Who's the family?
What family?
That the judge ruled in favor of.
Oh, I don't have it in front of me, but I can find it.
I'm just wondering. I mean,
I dropped it in your chat room today, actually, because you couldn't remember. But yeah, I don't think you saw it, but I don't have it up anymore. I'll find it.
I'm just wondering what was the beef? What was the lawsuit? What was the, filing or whatever you call it?
I don't know. Did anybody else read it?
I mean, I'm just wondering how after, 10 years, this family wants a ruling in favor of accusing Iran? It sounds a little odd. I don't know.
Yeah, here, I just found it. It says a U.S. court has won a default judgment that Iranian officials, including its supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, provided help to the 9/11 hijackers behind the worst terror attack on American soil. The lawsuit was filed by the family of the atrocities victims. So this was 9/11 victim. Yeah.
That's all the information on the family.
That's it.
Sorry.
There is a video, though.
Woman's husband died on 9/11.
Seems too convenient for me. Welcome back, everybody. This is the last segment of WTF. And I don't even remember what we were talking about when we went to break. Were we talking about drones?
I
think so.
Weren't we talking about Dr. Phil?
I don't know.
We could get some callers here in the last segment. Am I asking for it and saying that?
No, we were talking about the Iran thing and you know how a family, I guess, wanted to blame Iran for 9/11 and judges.
They went to court with this huge plot and they based it off of the 9/11 Commission. This is where it comes from. That piece of trash that's known as the 9/11 Commission report. Well, they suggested in there that the government should look closer into Iran's ties with Al-Qaeda and the perpetrators of 9/11 that somehow took down these huge, massive skyscrapers with box cutters.
Look closer at Iran. So Iran's been kind of off the radar, I guess, lately. Yeah, I better take a closer look at that.
They said it needs further inquiry, and that's why they brought this lawsuit forward to receive. You should have heard some of the reports. I want justice for my loved ones that lost their lives on 9/11. Oy vey. So I'm going to go after Iran, because that's really going to do something for us.
Wow, so that almost sounds like it was an ace of spades that they kept under the table until now, until they had to pull it out.
It sure does.
Well, that is why we went into Iraq, after all, isn't it?
Right, exactly. And it had nothing to do with Iraq to begin with, though. Saddam Hussein was not part of the accused when it first happened. Remember that day?
Yeah.
I thought they tracked back the box cutters to Saddam.
Maybe.
Yeah, it had his fingerprints all over them.
Yeah.
They were gold.
The thing with Saddam Hussein, it was the same thing that they had with Gaddafi over in Libya. Saddam Hussein wanted to start taking only euros for the oil. Gaddafi in Libya wanted to have the gold dinar, and that was the only thing that they would allow oil to be sold in.
Exactly.
So you're getting away from their fiat currencies. Well, Saddam Hussein wasn't. But the whole thing is, you're spitting on the American dollar. My gosh, that's the currency of the world. That is the number one fiat currency out there. So
Russia and China no longer trade in the U.S. dollar either. They trade between each other in their own currencies.
Is that for everything or just oil?
I know it's for oil. I don't know if it's for everything.
Right.
Well, China's got gold vending machines now.
Yeah, I saw that video. You can buy them as gifts. China. You just pop money in. They have them just like food vending machines, and it pops you out like a gold bar.
So if you drop $1 in there, what does it do? Laugh at you?
No, you can get like little flecks in a container.
You can start an account. Start an account. Just put a little bit in every time you walk by. Eventually, something will come out.
$10,000 in American money, and they give it back to you in a roll. Here, hang this on. It's not worth anything.
Would you see gold's falling? I thought it was around 1,500 now.
Yeah, I watch it.
Everyone's scratching their head.
Why? They're playing with the market.
Good time to buy.
Yeah.
They're playing silver. Silver's around 28.
Yeah.
Really?
But let me make this disclaimer. Before you buy any metals, please have a roof over your head that's stable. Please be able to heat your house and cool your house without being dependent on the grid. Please have a stock of food and gardening and that kind of stuff ready. I mean, correct. Yeah.
A couple of M50 machine guns, about 60,000.
Easy, Ken. Easy. We're the Intel Hub and we already made the SPLC's list. I don't need to make it again.
This is about Tuskin radio show.
Is this?
It is now. If they're going to be listening close.
This is not the Bob Tuskin show. This is the Anti-Semitic Information Clearinghouse. That is your show, right? Information Clearinghouse? All righty.
Watching you, Mr. Tuskin.
I did have a story.
I bet you are, Grandpa. Go ahead.
So I found a story while we were on break before, and it made me laugh. The title was Handicapped Scooter Bumper Car Competition at Walmart Ends in 2:30 a.m. Arrest of drunken Louisiana guy. So apparently they were playing drunken bumper cars using Walmart handicapped scooters in a parking lot while intoxicated. And the police responded to a disturbance, and they took them away. So I thought that was pretty funny. They only had 5 or 6 beers.
Just goes to show you don't need television to be entertained.
Yep.
It's true.
Just need Walmart.
What about the birds that all apparently flew into the Walmart parking lot thinking that it was a pond and killed themselves?
Not buying it.
Quote unquote. No, that was very suspicious. They're all over the place now, everywhere. They're having weird smells and birds falling out of the sky again. This has been since the end of last year, like October, November. But first of this year, there were, remember all the mass deaths, like the first 3 months?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, what are the excuses been? It's been birds got scared and flew into the sides of tractor trailer trucks going down the highway. The birds got frightened of fireworks all of a sudden and slammed into everything. or just fell to their death. I don't know. And then, of course, birds mistaking pavement for a lake. And I don't know. That's all I can remember right now. But, you know, obviously, I don't know what's going on with the birds. They're getting dumbed down as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, government thinks that people are stupid.
I don't know. But I would think that if it was the 4th of July, on the 5th of July, the ground would be littered with birds every year. But I haven't found that to be the case.
No, and their excuse was it's because we're paying attention more. But, I mean, do you remember in your entire lifetime hearing reports like all over of mass bird deaths? Not me. Or
no, you're not paying attention more. That's what grabs your attention. And they go, hey, look, you're just paying attention more. And you're like, no, that grabbed my attention because it's weird. No, you're just paying more attention. It's like the stuff Bob tried to pull earlier in the show. By, saying something and then denying he said it, and we all heard it. He knows what I'm talking about.
What? It's not just birds, it's the fish that are dying off too.
Right. And
they're washing up on shores all around the world.
Dolphins and sharks and whales. Well, they're not all Japanese. But all that fish, the radiation from Japan has sunk way down into the depths of the ocean, and they didn't think it was going to do that. So all the deep sea fish are contaminated now, like the tuna.
Well, they're even finding crabs down deep that are infected with it.
Well, after World War II, we were dumping toxic waste in the ocean. We didn't have
barrels all over. Yeah. Along all the coasts. If you look at that map, it's like both the east and west coast of North America, and then down near the Canary Islands, and then up near the upper top part of eastern Canada. Yeah, and all those barrels are starting to rust.
No, they don't do that. Do they?
Yeah. back in the day when it was okay. But apparently they never got over that. They just got better at hiding it.
Yeah.
I just got a spike on my monitor for 42 counts per minute.
Inside.
Yeah, while I'm sitting here.
Huh. Something just hit the roof.
Great. Cosmic radiation beams.
Neutrinos. That's what it is. You're measuring neutrinos. They come from space. They go right through the planet and just keep on trucking.
So let's end this on a positive.
I thought I felt something. What?
I don't know. Let's think of something positive.
Think of something. Oh, I thought you had something lined up.
No, I have nothing lined up.
Nothing. There's nothing positive lined up. Forget it. It's over.
I don't know. Be
I'd like to end this on a negative note.
Well, Jules, I think you did a great job for taking the lead on the WTF show tonight.
So do I.
You didn't have to announce that.
Oh,
Maybe
sorry.
everyone forgot about it by now. It's okay. It was fun. It was an experience, right? That's what it's all about.
And thank you for inviting me. I enjoyed my time on Orion, like I always do whenever I'm here.
And thank you to everybody for coming on. Ken and I are the only two regulars.
Yep. Nice meeting you, Ken. Nice meeting you, Josh.
Yep, nice meeting you too, man.
Yep, it's been a pleasure.
So
I already met you, Bob, so.
Getting nothing out of the meat grinder. What the heck is going on there, Bob?